Imagine being on top of the world one day, and the next day, everything you've ever known and loved is taken away from you. That's exactly what happened to Paul Teutul Jr., better known as Paulie from the hit TV show American Chopper. What you're about to hear is a story that will break your heart, make you angry, and maybe even bring tears to your eyes. This is the tragic tale of a son who lost everything, including his family, his business, and his dreams, all because of one of the most bitter family feuds ever shown on television. If you've ever watched American Chopper, you know it wasn't just a show about building custom motorcycles. It was a window into one of the most dysfunctional families in reality TV history. At the center of it all was Paul Teutul Jr., a talented young man with incredible artistic vision and a passion for creating some of the most beautiful motorcycles the world has ever seen. But behind all the fame and success was a story so heartbreaking that it still makes fans of the show sad to this day. Paul Teutul Jr. was born into what seemed like the perfect life for someone who loved motorcycles. His father, Paul Teutul Sr., owned Orange County Choppers, a custom motorcycle shop in New York that became famous for building incredible bikes for celebrities and big companies. From the time Paulie was a little boy, he was surrounded by the smell of motor oil, the sound of welding, and the sight of beautiful machines being created from nothing but raw metal and imagination. Unlike many kids who rebel against following in their father's footsteps, Paulie embraced the family business with all his heart. He had a natural talent for design that was almost magical to watch. While his father was known for being the tough boss who ran the business side of things, Paulie was the creative genius who could look at a pile of metal and see a work of art waiting to be born. His designs were not just motorcycles. They were rolling sculptures that took people's breath away. When the Discovery Channel decided to make a reality show about Orange County Choppers in 2003, it seemed like the perfect opportunity for the Teutul family to share their passion with the world. American Chopper became an instant hit, and millions of people fell in love with watching these talented craftsmen create amazing motorcycles. But what made the show really special was the relationship between father and son, even though it was complicated from the very beginning. Paul Sr. was old school, a tough guy who believed in hard work and discipline. He had built his business from nothing and was proud of what he had accomplished. But he was also known for his explosive temper and his need to be in control of everything. Paulie, on the other hand, was more laid back and creative. He cared more about making beautiful bikes than making money, and he often clashed with his father's business-first approach. At first, these conflicts made for great television. Viewers loved watching the father and son argue about designs, deadlines, and business decisions. It seemed like typical family drama that would blow over once the cameras stopped rolling. But as the years went by, it became clear that these weren't just scripted arguments for the sake of entertainment. These were real, deep-seated problems that were tearing the family apart. The tragedy of Paul Teutul Jr.'s story really began when success started changing the people around him. As American Chopper became more and more popular, the pressure to create bigger and better bikes increased. The deadlines became tighter, the budgets became bigger, and the stakes became higher. What had once been a fun family business started feeling more like a corporate machine that never stopped demanding more. Paulie found himself caught in the middle of his father's growing demands and his own artistic vision. He wanted to create bikes that were meaningful and beautiful, but his father wanted bikes that would make good television and bring in more money. This fundamental difference in values created a tension that grew stronger with each passing season. The situation became even more complicated when Paulie started to feel like he wasn't getting the credit he deserved for his contributions to the company. While his father was often seen as the face of Orange County Choppers, it was Paulie's designs that were making the bikes famous. He was the one staying up late into the night, sketching ideas and perfecting every detail. He was the one who could take a client's crazy idea and turn it into something that actually worked and looked incredible. But in his father's eyes, Paulie was still just an employee, not a partner. This became a source of constant frustration for the young designer, who felt like he was being treated like a child instead of the grown man and talented artist he had become. Every disagreement became a battle for respect, and every business decision became a test of who was really in charge. The breaking point came during some of the most painful episodes of American Chopper that fans have ever had to watch. The arguments between father and son became more intense, more personal, and more hurtful. What had once been disagreements about bike designs turned into screaming matches about respect, loyalty, and family values. Viewers watched in horror as a relationship that had seemed unbreakable slowly crumbled before their eyes. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of Paulie's story was watching him try so hard to make his father proud while also staying true to himself. He loved his dad and wanted nothing more than to have a good relationship with him, but he also couldn't give up his own dreams and values just to keep the peace. It was an impossible situation that no son should ever have to face. The tension reached a boiling point when Paulie started talking about leaving Orange County Choppers to start his own business. For his father, this felt like the ultimate betrayal. He had given his son everything, taught him everything he knew, and made him famous. And now, Paulie wanted to leave and become a competitor. For Paulie, it felt like the only way to save his sanity and pursue his dreams without constantly fighting with his father. The final episodes showing their relationship falling apart were almost too painful to watch. These weren't actors playing roles. These were real family members destroying their relationship in front of millions of viewers. The hurt in Paulie's eyes when his father said cruel things to him was genuine. The anger in his father's voice when he felt betrayed was... The sadness of watching a family tear itself apart was something that affected viewers so deeply that many of them stopped watching the show altogether. When Paulie finally left Orange County Choppers, it wasn't a triumphant moment of independence. It was a tragedy that left everyone involved wounded and broken. He had lost his father, his family business, and his place in the company he had helped build into an empire. The dreams he had of working alongside his dad and creating beautiful motorcycles together were shattered, and there seemed to be no way to put the pieces back together. Starting his own company, Paul Jr. Designs, should have been an exciting new chapter in Paulie's life. And in many ways, it was. He finally had the creative freedom he had always wanted, and he was able to build bikes that truly reflected his artistic vision. His new company created some absolutely stunning motorcycles that proved he didn't need his father's name or business to be successful. But success in business couldn't fill the hole that losing his family had left in his heart. No matter how beautiful his new bikes were, or how much money his company made, he had still lost something that couldn't be replaced. The relationship with his father that had once been the center of his world was gone, and with it went a part of himself that he would never get back. The tragedy wasn't just about losing a job or a business partnership. It was about losing the man who had taught him everything he knew about motorcycles and life. It was about losing the dream of building a family legacy that would last for generations. It was about losing the simple pleasure of working side by side with his dad on something they both loved. What made it even more heartbreaking was watching how the feud affected the rest of the family. Paulie's relationship with his brother Michael was damaged. The whole family was forced to choose sides in a battle that nobody really wanted to fight. The Orange County Choppers shop, which had once been filled with laughter and creativity, became a place of tension and sadness. For fans of the show, watching this tragedy unfold was like watching their own family fall apart. Many viewers had grown to love both Paul Sr. and Paulie, and seeing them hurt each other was genuinely painful. The show had always been about more than just motorcycles. It was about family, tradition, and the American dream of building something special with the people you love. When that dream was destroyed, it felt like something important had been lost forever. Over the years since the big fight, there have been attempts at reconciliation between father and son. There have been moments when it seemed like they might be able to work things out and rebuild their relationship. But the damage that was done during those painful years was so deep that healing has been almost impossible. The saddest part of Paul Teutul Jr.'s story is that it didn't have to end this way. Both father and son loved motorcycles, they both cared about the family business, and deep down, they both loved each other. If they had been able to find a way to communicate better, to respect each other's differences, and to work together instead of against each other, they could have created something truly special that would have lasted for generations. What we got was a cautionary tale about how pride, stubbornness, and poor communication can destroy even the strongest family bonds. We watched two people who should have been best friends become bitter enemies. We saw a business that should have been a source of joy become a battlefield. We witnessed the destruction of dreams that should have come true. Today, Paul Teutul Jr. continues to build motorcycles and run his own successful business. He has found some measure of peace and happiness in his work, and he has created a life for himself that doesn't depend on his father's approval. But anyone who knows his story can see that the pain of losing his family is still there, just beneath the surface. The tragedy of Paul Teutul Jr. is a reminder that success and fame can't protect us from the most basic human needs for love, respect, and family connection. It's a story about how the people closest to us can hurt us the most, and how some wounds never fully heal. It's about the price we sometimes pay for following our dreams when those dreams conflict with the expectations of the people we love. But perhaps most importantly, it's a story about resilience and the human spirit's ability to survive even the most heartbreaking losses. Despite everything he went through, Paulie never gave up on his passion for creating beautiful motorcycles. He never stopped believing in himself, even when the person whose opinion mattered most to him had stopped believing in him. His story serves as both a warning and an inspiration. It warns us about the dangers of letting pride and ego destroy our most important relationships. But it also inspires us by showing that even when we lose everything that once defined us, we can still find a way to rebuild and create something meaningful with our lives. The heartbreaking tragedy of Paul Teutul Jr. will always be remembered as one of the saddest stories in reality television history. It's a reminder that behind every famous face is a real human being with real feelings, real dreams, and real pain. It's a story that makes us appreciate our own families a little more and reminds us to never take for granted the people we love. If this story touched your heart the way it has touched mine, please take a moment to hit that like button and let me know in the comments below. Have you ever experienced a family conflict that seemed impossible to resolve? What lessons do you think we can learn from Paul Teutul Jr.'s tragic story? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the real stories behind your favorite TV shows and celebrities. Share this video with anyone who might need to hear this powerful reminder about the importance of family, forgiveness, and following your dreams no matter what obstacles life throws your way. Until next time, remember that every person you meet is fighting battles you know nothing about, so always choose kindness over judgment.